Perfect. Well, that's good. I want to say, oh my goddess. Oh my goddess, and welcome everyone to the Ascension Hour with Reverend HoniB and her incredible guests. And today is stellar. And really, this is a whole stellar hour for sure. That's what happened to be on today with the landfall of Hurricane Ian. And wow, it's just divine perfection. Stellar, you need no introduction. And I welcome you on so many levels. Our beautiful viewers welcome you, not just this physical borrowed expression, the whole gamma you that you're bringing in. So thank you so much.
No, thank you, honey. It's lovely to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see you again.
Great to be seen with you and share this inner side. We got a lot to go through. This is perfect. Let the viewers just drop in for a second. Let me just put a little call in this beautiful moment around this call, this beautiful show, and then we get started. So let us just, if you feel called, uncross your legs, wherever you are, just place your hands in your heart if you wish, and just take a deep, nice in-breath into that fabulous, golden, pure, divine light inside your heart, and hold it for about 3 seconds. And release it nice and gently. And we're going to do that again. Let's go ahead and take a deeper in-breath all the way from your outer field into your heart and tune into that divine flame of light. And as you hold it for a few seconds, so you really connect to that inner presence, and release it and relax. And this next in-breath, deeply breathe into that heart space, into that dazzling diamond light, and hold the breath, connect to that purity, diamond golden light, and unite with it as you then release it. Let us now draw our attention all the way down, all of our bodies, through all the lower chakras and the Earth Star Chakra, all the way down to the heart of Sophia Gaia. Let us make connection with her heart, her diamond crystalline heart, and take a deep in-breath, drawing it all the way from her heart into your heart, and hold it for about 3 seconds. And release it again. And again, one more time. Draw that in all the way to your heart, so you make that connection from Sophia Gaia's heart into your heart, and hold it. And release that. And this last one, draw it all the way, heart to heart, in that unity Christ consciousness, all the way into your united Christed consciousness, crystalline heart. And you then release it. And let us now turn from the center of our beautiful, dazzling, golden Christed heart. Let us draw it, all the attention upward through all of our chakras, all the way passing through the soul star chakra and all the different planes of consciousness, all the way to the heart of source, the diamond heart of source straight. Make that connection and draw the breath from the heart of source all the way into your heart. Make that connection and hold it. Breathe it out. One more time again. Breathe it all the way out through all the bodies. And one last breath, the breath from source, the source of our creation, all the way into all of our bodies, all of this dimensional plane, all the way, make that connection. And breathe it all the way out. And the final breath, take a deep in breath into your heart and breathe it all the way out, all around you, through your spiritual body. In this dazzling diamond light all around you, recognition you are in the most magnificent, dazzling, glorious ray of pure white diamond light. And everybody on this call is. Anything less than this divine perfection will not interact in any which way with us. And the voice of that divine truth is spoken on this ascension hour with our beautiful sacred guest, Stellar, as it's grounded deep in profoundness and that activation in remembrance. And so let it be, so let it truly be in the beingness of this now. And so it is as we begin, welcoming my delicious, glorious, sacred sister, Stellar. Welcome, sweetheart.
Hello.
Hello to you.
It's good to see you, honey. Bless you. And you're sitting there so calm and so in your heart. And you were just saying to me earlier, I might not have a home to go back to tomorrow. Yeah. So maybe later on in this, we can all go into meditation and we can go into the hurricane and we'll bring in the cosmic mothers, diamond dragons, and get them to eat it up.
Yeah.
And everyone can go home.
Yes. And you know, it's interesting, Stella. So Ascension, what is Ascension? You know, what is the whole point is Ascension hour. And sometimes as planetary work, we have done so much work, and I'm one that I can change patterns of these things. I'm very well aware of what's guided. So I was guided to not be there during this time. We're up high in the mountains here. Because from here, there's a lot more I can do on this end while I'm not in that, and has been done before. But what is very important is around these things are also part of the further awakening, further journey, and all the different layers. And sometimes they're necessary. It's not, they are, because it's part of the soul's journey in remembrance and remembrance of truth through the mother nature. And sometimes it's man-made, I get that too, but that's also part of it, where we position, where we are, the choices we've made. So it's not to really fix it all. And of course, I've been working with a huge team these past few days. And this morning, just in full honor, even ourselves, we definitely may not have a house to go back to, and it's totally fine. I've experienced that several times in this lifetime, to complete zero, but it doesn't even touch me because we're creative beings. We like, okay, no problem, we create again. Like, so I have no anxiety around this, but Michael is going through this. So he went walking during our time, and yet there's a lot of wisdom around this ascension. So share with me, Stellar, because this week, sister, you and I on a background level know there's a whole lot more here.
Yes.
It's not the hurricane, it's not meteorite, it's not the revolution in Iran, it's not Shemitah, it's not
all goosebumps when you said the revolution in Iran. Yeah.
You know, there's a lot going on. So tell me, from your delicious, magnificent, and divine mother truth, break it down, your lens of ascension for our beautiful audience.
Okay, I'll keep it really simple. So I had a teacher called Isis, and she lived at the foot of the Tor in Glastonbury. She was the guardian of the heart chakra of the planet. And I went to see her for 25 years of my life. She's since passed on over the veil, but she was all about the heart. So everything, all the teachings that I kind of was osmotically learning through her for this time was to stay in the heart, to stay in the 0 point. And, for me and for a lot of star seeds and light workers and all the way showers that are here, it's a descension process first. So it's going from here, living in the head and focusing on the outer world, which of course is the illusion, to dropping down into the heart and going through the sacred gateway of the heart into the multidimensional universe within, which is the true reality. That is, that's home. And so it took me a while, to get to that place. It's not easy, and we can still get caught up in our heads and still get kind of pulled off center, can't we, with all these things that come up and spring up out of the blue. But really, Ascension to me is about living in higher octaves of light, higher octaves of love, higher octaves and dimensions of our full spectrum human capacity, which is the superhuman DNA unpacking. And so there's many layers to it, but the first step for the whole of humanity, and that's kind of our role right now, as the way showers and the star seeds and the light workers and all the galactics that are here, and all the different beautiful beings that have come for this incredible time to be here. Our main responsibility right now is to get everyone in their hearts to do that little elevator ride from the pineal down into the pearl, I call it, in the heart. And that pearl is the sacred doorway. It's the doorway of the deep knowing. My teacher used to always say to me when she brought me to that doorway, there's nothing on the other side of this doorway that I can tell you that you don't already know. Yeah. Because the wisdom of the ages, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying this, but the wisdom of the
dance.
Yeah. The tingles, the wisdom of the ages is contained within us. All the answers are inside of us. So, we've been growing up in this egoic construct of time and, the outer world and everything else. And Ascension is about being still and going inwards, really, in a nutshell. That's how I would try and explain. Of course, there's a lot more to it than that, which I'm sure we'll discuss in the hour. But really, it's going into the quantum inner universe within.
And within that, there's a whole journey of that so-called arrival point, isn't it? I mean, it is that, the consciousness is there. The journey of getting there is the magnificent journey of and then staying there. There's like different layers, different levels. And so for you yourself on your journey, Stellar, like, where are you right now on your ascension journey? Like, because, with this, it's so funny. We go through, we pat ourselves in the back. We got this one, we got that, and the other one back on the drawing board.
Yeah, I was going to say, ascended one day, not ascended the next.
Like, fall on our head, right?
Well, for me, it's about living in joy. No matter what the heck is going on in the outer world, it's about finding your joy point and making fun of yourself, taking the mickey out of yourself, not taking anything too seriously, and deciding to live in the new timeline of love, which is just, it's living from the heart. It's living from all the qualities of divine love. It's walking as a Christ rather than following Christ. You learn how to become that energy, and I know to a lot of people who are in the Christian church, they'll probably think that's highly blasphemous. But, if you read in the Bible, greater things shall you do than I, that's because we're here to evolve. And Yeshua knew that. Yeah. He knew we're here to evolve the soul's experience. And that's why he said, greater things shall you do than I, because we are here to evolve. We're here to do greater things. We're here to be more superhuman. We're here to have more superpowers, and all this stuff's starting to unpack now because it's in the field. It's actually in the field, and all you have to do is call it in. But for me, it's about living in joy. And look, there's days, I've got a teenage daughter, it's not joy every day. You know what it's like? You probably had 3 teen boys, right, at one stage. Kids will bring you right back. I remember being on holiday recently with Rosie, and we were both really hot, and we were lying on the beach, and I was just bickering, and she's like, "You're not very spiritual now, Mum. You're not very divine now." We're having this human experience.
Spiritual, what happened to you? I'm like, no, I'm experiencing the human experience. Don't forget, like,
yeah.
I'm showing you what it's like when I fall from grace into that,
exactly. So it's about allowing yourself to have the human experience, and to enjoy that, to enjoy all the things that you can, and nature is one of the most amazing classrooms and places to be. I certainly am very busy. I don't get out in nature enough, but for anybody that can, a walk on the beach or in the forest or connecting with nature is so healing and so beautiful. So really, Ascension is about going back to organic basics, isn't it? It's about living in harmony with the earth. We're going to see just amazing things happening as people realize that they've been duped. They've been duped.
We've been singing, and we're singing at a even greater and greater and greater levels. It's incredible. It's just
it's off the charts. And we've sort of been duped to believe that our imagination is just fantasy and make believe. Pretty much all the humans that have been to school have learned that you've got to learn facts and regurgitate information to be judged and good at something, but actually it's our creativity and our imaginations that are our superpowers. And so when everyone starts living in their heart and creating from that space, oh boy, it's like boom, we're going to see so much beauty come out in the world now, because we're on this really positive trajectory now.
And I really love that, because that nature we speak about, that nature, when I look at nature, like right now in front of me, you should see the elevation of these mountains. I mean, it's freaking unbelievable view right now as I'm speaking to you. This nature, when I look at this, when I see this, it always reminds me, that's me. It's not there. That is me. That's that magnificence. That is the real me that I am seeing through the lens of divine. That remarkable divine nature of this earth, this water, this fire, this air is me, comprised of this. And then it's stars too. Holy wow, that's it. So then within this ascension, so let's say there is like when I'm really here in this, like there's let's say this disasters category 5 coming literally. So it's like it's been interesting, because it's not it's not really all fun and play either when there's like so-called life situations happening. Like if right now was a fire in front of me, I probably would have had a different response. Right now is not, but I'm coming from a different response. Was that yet I've been able to see the navigation is completely different. Like, okay, category 5 coming, I'm cool. Like I'm here. Like, and that's that, I feel that's that some days we really are grounded in that anchored truth, and some days we're not, because things are still working through. So speak to me about that, like on times that no, you were not aligned on this ascension, and like I mean, no, it was not fun in any which way, and flat on the back or the face, or tumbled around.
I think it's for a lot of people, it's about not being seen, and people will only ever see you from the lens of their perception that they can receive you, so there's a lot of that going on. And I guess people's wounds, when you get a wound, like a betrayal wound, or you get something that hits you deep, and that can be painful too. But of course, those are great lessons as well. So, we've got an emotional scale, haven't we? And whilst it's great to say, yeah, it's about living in joy, your joy never leaves you, even if you go into something where you feel a bit ashamed, or you go into the lower frequencies, your joy is always there. It might not be this big open flower like we are right now. It'll tighten up into a little bud, but it's there. And that joy is your birthright. And so it's like every day going through the emotional scale and getting yourself up into that space where you can be the joy of love, the joy of your heart, and live that out into the world. So, oh yeah, and then of course, we've all got families. People don't agree with each other, do they? There was a massive split over the last 2 years between people who'd had the jabs and not, so the Christmases were split. Everything's been split, hasn't it, into little groups, and people can't agree at the best of times. They always say, if you're a spiritual monk, go and have a look at them after they've had 3 days with their family. It's like, that's a big trigger point for a lot of people. And that's where you go back to not being seen, because your family tend to not see you actually the way that you are. They see you from that. What was it they said? You can't be a prophetess in your hometown or whatever, because people have a general overview of what you are and who you are, and they haven't seen what you're doing behind the scenes. They haven't seen all the other things, right?
I have come more recently into something, Stellar. I love that you speak about two things, very important what you said. For those who are watching through the Ascension journey, I mean, most of my audience are much more advanced in their, Ascension journey. So, they know these. Yet also, it's very important to be reminded while you're experiencing, like, let's say that womb coming up, it's that tough space, the joy is there on the background. You can't tap into it. So you don't feel it, because when you experience it's diminished, that's a really tough place. That was very important. So remember that's still there, because God's love, the divine's love, source love, creator's love doesn't go anywhere. You're already it. The second part, more recently, I have noticed, Stellar, those who it was the split or family not seen. When I removed my energy for them to see me, it was the most incredible thing that happened in my family that would not see me, would not embrace. They started coming and wanting to know and wanting to embrace, and then on top of it, wanting to support and then truly respect. This has been like the most phenomenal thing that I've experienced, like within that healing of that ascension, because for a long time my energy was invested. I really wanted to be seen, only because I wanted to share the magnificence for them too, to also experience.
Yeah, I know.
And they couldn't. But then something's been changing, and it's like, wow. I don't know. I'm at least experiencing that with that immediate family. It's like, oh, this is delicious. Wow.
Yeah, because you can just be then, can't you, without having to, kind of put on any. I mean, we're all very down to earth here. We roll up our sleeves and we get on with the work. There's no airs or graces about Ascension. Let me tell you, it's one of the toughest things. And we've tried to ascend this system 12 times before. This is the 13th attempt, and everything's going super well. So yeah, it's going to happen, and it is happening.
It is happening.
And luckily we have special tools and things like that to protect us, so that we can, actually do the job without impediment. The opponent, shall we say, in the duality is a tough opponent, but love is so much more powerful. We've been working in teams. We've been doing the HoniB grids, and they're filled with superhuman DNA. They're filled with healing for the golden age. There's going to be no sickness. This is control HQ for the divine now, this planet, for the entire multiverse. So, it's always been the jewel in the crown. Gaia Sophia, she's the goddess, isn't she? So it's always been the place. And really, if you want to ascend worlds and systems, you have to have 2 feet in an avatar body on this beloved earth. You've got to have boots on the ground to do it. So the boots on the ground are here. Everyone's in place. Everyone's been doing their bit. It's a multi-layered thing. There's not like one set of groups that is ascending the planet. There's so many of us, soul pod wise, all around the place. All the Emerald Founder Record holographic plates have been found and activated, and the new holograms ready to go. The Divine Intelligence Network is taking over the AI completely. It's like we're so ahead now. Everyone can. I don't say rest on your laurels. It's more about focusing on your personal ascension. What does that look like for you personally? It's a very deeply personal experience. And it's going from believing that Christ and Christos was a separate being to actually we all are.
That's right.
We all are on this planet. Yeah.
And that's an incredible like fabric of network that was so tightly woven together from a conditioned awareness that has opened up to its true divine awareness, that returning home is phenomenal. And any of us that have awoken to that and pulled away and pulled into that space is tasting and is like experiencing, and that there's this satisfaction, joyous, calm, and recognizes how everything else is truly falling into place. Is so beautiful when the emotional body is not rattling things to, I mean,
well, that's how they get to us, right? The other side of duality know that we're highly emotional beings.
Right. But they get you, but it's you also yourself get pulled in, so there's that is a huge part of that as well. So all of that is coming into that centered. We speak a lot about with Ascension 0-point field. I love when there's that kind of like a map, there's this 0-point field, but the embodiment of it is a whole different experience. And the body of it, I don't know if you feel like there are times you are, again, more embodied through different circumstances, and there are times not quite yet. So that's what there's that grace. There's this thing like flowing until it really becomes.
I mean, really, that's about your mastery of fear. Fear is the only thing that can really take you off, or anxiety or worry. Now, there's been a lot of anxiety and worry in the field. I felt it, this whole September the 4th thing, what's going to happen. And that was a big deal. But before, actually, on the equinox technically in the UK was at 2 a.m. on the 23rd. And I woke up on the morning of the 22nd, and John said, right, we're going to pull our work forward. And we did. We pulled it into the 22nd. And there was the whole like hieroscamus union of the Holy Universal Mother and Father literally coming together to create this massive blast of plasma. And it just went right through the inner worlds. So anyone that can see internally or has guides that can do this, you can go and check it out. It is happening. And I suppose everyone kind of expects it to be in the outer world, but it's not. Everything happens in here. Everything happens through the heart. So the message really continually from my side, probably for the next 20 years of my life, is get inside your heart, right?
That's that union first within before it's also materialized on the outside in that union. Like, I mean, this is so key. I'm like you, Stella, because the ascension is absolutely not leaving the body. Being in body, be earthing and in here. It's so internal and it's so beautiful. So beautiful.
And that's, as you say, that's where we materialize and manifest from. You can't do it with the mind. The mind is programmed to operate in this realm, if you like, with the Upanishads called it the 5 thieves, didn't they? The 5 senses steal you from the true reality, because the true reality is accessed through the heart. And then you go through the sacred gateway of the heart and you're into the quantum universe, and you can go to Earth. You can fly down, go to Earth, have a look at it, go to your favorite sacred sites, hang out for a bit, and then you might want to go to Mars, see what's going on there. And you're literally at the speed of thought. You're working through different time gates, dimensions, time jump locks. I go to the Andromedan Academy a lot in meditation. That's a lot where a lot of my crew hang out. And it's like that. I'm there at the speed of thought. I don't have to travel for 25 years in a spacecraft.
It's so beautiful. Like when I drop and when I go, there are 9 chambers. So I love and different ones. Sometimes I open a door, I go through one, and then I experience like for example, communication with my ancestors for some of that knowledge. And I go to another one to then see, okay, so the pages I go through flipping, okay, here's the libraries where they are. Okay, so pull them up, okay, get the information, come back. Or I love meeting the Arcturian councils in there, And so if people know if they know it's there, you can go in there and then you can go, I mean, it's, and that's where that power is, that many of us are remembering, and where there's power, then it's feared, because then you no longer can be controlled. And so, then there's all of that. And it's so fantastic and fabulous.
Well, that's where we're going, is we've come, this planet has been captive for a very long time. We've been treated like slaves. And now that kind of old vanguard is being disbanded, really. The earth is under new management. Everyone's here in a body. They really are. Like, the whole team is here, and the teams of teams of teams of teams. So, there's so many different orders and conglomerates and everything else, and everyone's here. So we're moving from that slave race and the thing is, we're all divine creator beings, so we've been really kept down. I was saying in a post last night, you've got 35 trillion cells in your body, and each of those cells generates 1.4 watts of electricity. So that's around 70 trillion watts at a resting heartbeat.
Right.
It's enough to power 10 planets. Yet we have to pay 50 quid to turn the light on, right? So at the moment, so, it's crazy. It's like we've got all this power. We don't know how to use it. Some of us have had awakenings where we felt that power running through us. Some of us are in earthly high-risk gamma unions where, we're using that power to create new worlds, to create plasma, to heal the planet, maybe create damage limitation with a hurricane, all that kind of stuff. Because the whole divine team here is about balance, harmony, synergy, divine sovereignty. And that is the future platform, divine sovereigns. Everyone's going from being slaves to being divine sovereigns. And the divine sovereign is a very, very important part of our Christed self, our Christed heart, because what happens is when we click into that and we form a ball of energy where everyone's unique, but we're all part of the whole, the law of one, unity consciousness, all the rest of it, we really then start to ascend to a whole new level. And I love the way Richard Rudd, a great friend, talks about gene key number 44, I think it is, the synergy gene key. And that is where we're going. That is that creative impetus to go into a self-organizing system that is divine. Where nothing is in our control, but as we imagine and create, oh my goodness, we just, it's going to be amazing when people click into that, right?
You said something very powerful. Of course, there's compacted with everything you share, Stella. I feel like with slavery, I spoke on this on an interview a couple of weeks ago. What I discovered in this ascension journey, this planet being slavery, it was so interesting the way it was materialized as slavery. Truly, it was the consciousness that was enslaved from its separation from divinity. So when I remember that, I really remembered, wow, I'm the only one who has truly, not this incarnation, many incarnation, had enslaved myself in the consciousness of that. And with the invisible jail walls, so as soon as I were able to see the jail, they were invisible, but I was able to see it, and because I had put it in there, and that a lot of it was incarnation after incarnation. This heart, the key was always there, and it's not gene key over there. No, the key is right here. So like for me, is that simple, because I remembered, oh, let me open this, let me unlock it. And that's when the walls came down, and then there were no walls. And I said, wow, there is actually, there was never truly slavery. It was always created by my own self and a collective energy. So now that I remember, I can uncreate it and then co-create it in its opposition. And that's a lot of that layers we go through in the remembrance of what already is. You come from source, you are not slaves to it. You're straight that sparkling, and then you have to go through all of these to then the journey of remembrance.
Oh, totally. And it is, it's a prison of the mind mostly. I mean, there's a lot of things in the outer reality in this 3D
Yes.
world and whatever D we're in right now, but that are there to take ownership
Right.
of the soul and the body.
Yeah.
And that was actually a decree made by Pope Boniface VIII
Mm.
in 1302, when he declared that all creatures that live on the earth are now owned by Rome. And that includes your body, your soul, your mind, the whole lot, right? And then you've got birth starts later on, you've got all this, that, and the other.
All of that.
So there's things to unshackle from. If you look at the crown, I always say, look at the crown of the queen, recently deceased. You have the crown, and then you have the lion, and then you have the unicorn. And if you look at the unicorn, it's shackled.
Yeah.
It's shackled, and the unicorn represents purity, the Christ energy. It is a fantasy animal, but it's in a different dimension, right? There's also these creatures in different dimensions, and the thing is about the earth is that she is, a massive living library of all species across the multiverse. And this is why it's such a special place to incarnate. And it's a pretty tough place to incarnate. Here we call it the toughest mystery school in the multiverse, because you have to come here and remember who you are, and you go through the veil of amnesia, and you have an emotional scale that sometimes you don't know how to control. And then there's a huge amount of trauma involved in coming,
But the
before
badass ones incarnated.
yeah, the badasses, right? I was laughing. I was going to tell the viewers, I was laughing with Honey, and I was saying, you're looking way too good for going through a spiritual war, girl. I mean, look, your teeth are perfect, your skin's perfect, you look amazing. I'm sitting with gaps in my teeth and like things are wobbling, and I'm like,
it's funny talking about it. There are a couple of things going on. So it's forever. They keep telling me, you got to get root canal. I said, no. And they're freaking out. I was like, no. They're like, maybe we'll have to pull it. I said, no, Christ's light will heal it. My dentist is like, what? I said, listen, last year you told me that. And this guy, I have no pain. I'm telling you, Christ, this is going to be crystal. By the time you're this is going to be pure crystal. No, I'm not going to buy it.
You have diamond teeth next time you go.
And diamonds coming out of my teeth. Oh my God. So as we wrap up, Stella, this is amazing. I mean, you and I can talk for hours. One day I feel like I want to have like few hours with you and the audience, and also some of this, because there's so much we can get into. But for this person, this Ascension hour is really some of the key about your awareness of Ascension. And I want to find out for our viewers, do you have any events, anything that's coming up that they can, I don't know, any offerings, anything
get involved with? Yeah, absolutely.
Music is amazing, so they know they can contact and just
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, obviously, I've got my Facebook. You can look me up, Stella Fairbairn. We've got a new Ascension Academy being built at the moment called the Stellar Ascension Academy, which is all about Ascension. It's all about it's getting off social media and going out into the mainstream. Literally, this is what we need to do. Humanity, it's time to come into your heart. So we'll be, talking to all sorts of people and having yourself, Honey, and other masters come in on the show, way showers, to talk about it, and looking at all the different perspectives of that. So that's going to be launching in October. We have White Flame. The White Flame has returned to the earth. White Flame was in the Andromeda Academy, one of the primary places that I go to and report into. And we had the White Flame there for safekeeping for a very long time. And so a team and I were asked to bring it back to the earth. So that's now pumping out since last winter solstice. That came to the planet. Hadn't been on the planet for like a whole galactic year because of the whole dark yuga that we had to go through. So we did this work in June as well, where another team went to Ireland, and what we did was we kind of worked with the Atlantean capstone and brought all the Shambhala frequencies up to Newgrange, which is like the womb of Isis. So the mother frequency was really starting to pump. And then all the ley lines changed. They went from being straight lines around the planet to being spirals. So we got these cosmic water spirals and things. So what we do is we take groups of people through the heart to Shambhala at Newgrange, and we go into the Temple of the White Flame there, and we do all the Ascended Master teachings in that space, which is very beautiful. And that's around the the 15th dimension,
Yeah.
in through the heart. And then, I mean, I'm actually making a calling now to the elders. If there's any Indigenous elders, or if you know of any Indigenous elders, or indeed the Divine Council of Light, this is a calling to regather. This is a calling to connect in with us, and to literally, we've got stuff going on around the Christmas period this year that will need us to gather together somewhere on the earth. I'm not sure where it's going to be yet. Could be Mexico, could be Ireland, could be France, could be Greece, we don't know. But there's going to be a gathering between the 21st of December to the 26th. And so if you're part of the Divine Councils of Light, or the elders, we need to talk to the elders. We're talking to quite a lot of the Aborigines in Australia and the Maori in New Zealand. So it's a calling for the tribal elders to return, because what we do then is we start to educate about sovereign communities, divine sovereign communities for the new earth. And that's part of the ascension process. It's like, we're not one big world governed by one being and all the rest of it. It's like we have to go back to community, tribal living, working together, everyone having a place within their community, but also, being able to, I love Michael Tellinger's, philosophy and everything. It's like you do 3 hours a week, to keep the whole community running, and then you go and do what you love for the rest of the week.
When he was speaking 10 years ago in London at the New Humanity, I was one of the 24 speakers with him. There's a lot we spoke about, because that's been going on for so many of us we're part of the leaders of these communities. And Sarah, in this YouTube channel, as soon as we finish, I'll put your link. Is there any other way people should get in contact with you, or just directly through your website so they know?
Well, the website's still going live. So just email me or Facebook message me. My email is stellar, like stellar with an R, 432, as in the frequency, my favorite frequency. So stellar432@gmail.com. You can get me on there.
I'll put that link on here as well, so they'll know. Wonderful.
Yeah, and it's a time to gather. Also, a lot of the work we've been doing, really powerful work actually, John and I've been doing, is what we call the High Risk Gammas online retreat, where there's a lot of people, out there who are very traumatized from childhood traumas in adulthood, whatever, and they're causing all sorts of addictions and problems, and a lot of disease in mental health and everything else, and the physical body. So we do a very powerful weekend, which we do at the end of every month, where you come on a Saturday and a Sunday, and you literally do about 8 hours of meditation and journeys with us, and you go and get an absolute reboot. The divine teams come in and they take out all the traumatized core, they put in a new earth core, they go and wipe out all the gunk in the subatomic particles and replace it with the Christ energy, and then you start to accelerate up into your inner Christ, which of course is that ascension protocol, by living from love and being trauma free, and then being able to help others, being the Divine Mother's compassionate heart. Cosmic mercy is here. Cosmic mercy is the descension, isn't it, from the cosmic worlds to us. So the Cosmic Mother frequency now is very high. And it's no loss, no harm, no suffering, no disease. All of that stuff is starting to get eradicated, which is such a blessing, because there's been so much of that going on, and now it's over. It's time to heal all of that now. So as things go forward, and the work that we're doing and going out there more into the mainstream, we'll be building healing centers. We'll have all the latest technologies. We'll have light technologies and quantum technologies and all this stuff to walk fully into the golden age with your golden robes on, healed, and looking your best self, and feeling good and being the joy of your heart. It's just, I can't wait. So it's an amazing time to be here. Really is. I know it's been tough. It's not been a walk in the park, has it? As you say, you've got to be a badass to come here. But we did it. We did it, and it's
of course. And it is a celebration. Sarah, thank you so much for being here with your glorious essence. I love you. Tonight, and having most of my audience already knows you, and the ones that don't know, I know they were in for a treat. So thank you for sharing this spectacular treat, and also Aki one here. I'll tell you all of that later. Yeah. Yeah, this is because you are here. It's like,
Well, blessing, honey. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor, and it's lovely just to come and jam with a divine sister. And we know the score. And if people want to get in touch, they can. I've got a music page as well. That's stellar1.bandcamp.com. So I sing and I do.
Send that to me too, and I'll just put it on the bottom of this YouTube video, and I'll send that YouTube video to you. So this is posted in several places. So it'll be wonderful for people to receive it, and also we share this. We share it with the spiritual communities, and share it, and enjoy your ascension. You don't necessarily have to suffer. That also exists. Go through it, experience, and you can also enjoy the ride. That also
as we say before we come here, if it's not fun, we're not doing it, right?
That's right. Exactly. So much love. So much love, everyone. Thank you so much for being on the call. So much gratitude.
Love you, darling. Take care.
And for Floridian friends that are watching, we are with you. We are with you, and all is well. Yeah. Indeed.
Wow. Blessings.
Blessings. So hang in there for me, my darling.